Welcome again to our regular series of educational webinars. We are Focus Point Technologies, and we provide privacy and security solutions to the Upper Midwest. My name is Kathy Waschenberger, and I'm the CIO of Focus Point Technologies. My background and my passion is around all aspects of data privacy, data protection, cybersecurity, and overall information risk management. This is the second topic in our Security Maturity webinar series designed to provide practical ways to improve your information security program. You will see the 3 webinars listed here. This particular webinar will focus on a topic many security leaders struggle with: funding, and how do you secure the funding for security initiatives when you're up against those competing priorities. The first topic focused on jumpstarting or accelerating your program, and you can view that replay of the video online. And this final topic will be on establishing the correct governance processes to communicate and continue to mature your program over time. The format will be today will be to discuss the challenge or the risk related to obtaining and securing funding for security priorities. It sounds pretty easy unless you've actually lived through the overall budgeting process. The key is to really understand the drivers of your organization, ensuring there are clear ties to your overall program priorities, making sure you can speak in business terms, and more importantly, to have an understanding of the options available to you. I'm going to walk through some basic items on a roadmap to get started. And always, I like to walk through some of the common pitfalls or things to avoid. And finally, a call to action: secure the funding, move forward, make progress. Here are a few of the most common challenges facing organizations relating to funding their privacy and security programs today. The budgeting process is difficult and different from company to company. Some start with a wish list and dwindle it down to a manageable amount of initiatives. Some require very complex documentation. Others really don't do it well at all. I've been in all scenarios, and the same thing seems to happen. Leadership recognizes the importance of security, but sometimes those competing priorities will win, and you just have to go with that flow. So how can you get in front of that as much as possible? Regulatory requirements will also say thou shall do X. Well, if it were that simple, then we wouldn't have a problem here at all. And most companies are looking to spend money on things that are going to grow the company. Security doesn't usually grow the company. It usually protects the company. Without a priority here, business projects are always going to win. Finally, this happens all the time. You've made it through the entire budget process. You have money allocated to your projects until an incident occurs or a new business project comes up out of the blue, and that's deemed more important. So all of these things can happen. They're all challenges and more. Unfortunately, it might be a reality of doing business, but we're going to get to some of the ways to protect your funding sources a little bit later. So for now, let's look at some of the options for funding. Not all of these options are going to be viable for every company, but hopefully there will be a nugget or two of information that you can take away that will be helpful to you. So first, consider the option of having a business fund your security initiative. As long as you're communicating with them, those business leaders will understand the need for a security budget. Many times, the various business lines who do have large budgets will agree to fund specific aspects of a privacy and security program, even if it's just a portion, and especially if it aligns with one of their major projects underway. A lot of times they'll even split the costs across multiple budget lines so that cost will seem negligible to them. Next, as projects are approved, ensure you get the required privacy and security budget included within the project funding. If you're not already, make sure you're involved early in the projects to determine security requirements. Many times, they'll utilize those budgets to fund security tools, assessments, or other expenses that are related to the project's success itself. Legal compliance drivers can also be a good source of funding. You should have close ties with your legal and compliance leaders. Things like audit findings, legal risks, or just general controls to prevent privacy and security issues from ever occurring can be justification enough. Just be sure to present the value without using that FUD factor, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. If the security-related spend is new to the organization, capital budgets can be used to fund the entire initiative, including resources. So again, based on your organization, you're going to want to discuss the specific details with your finance team to ensure this option will work for the spending that you're requesting. And finally, don't forget the fact that many organizations have quite a few technologies with capabilities that now overlap. Primarily due to the oversaturation of product evolution, many tools offer modules that can fit your privacy and security needs. So evaluate the functionality of your existing tool sets to see if any of them can be removed to be consolidated with other tool sets in your environment. The money that you save can actually be used to fund an initiative that's needed. So let's talk about next steps to get started down the path. I've mentioned before that all companies are different in how and when they establish their budgets. So you need to understand the methodology they use, the various influences, including people, stakeholders that have an impact, etc. And of course, understanding the risk tolerance of a company that has to do with making your approach more tolerable to those stakeholders. If your company doesn't require it, be prepared anyway to speak and potentially detail out your business case related to your funding request. Remember, business case means it's actually solving business problems, so try to stay away from that technology or security jargon. And hopefully there's an ROI at the very least. There should be something to speak to on this topic. Excuse me, make sure that you're clear and accurate on your calculations. It's never a good thing to go into a budget meeting with, I think maybe, or it might be statements. So do your homework up front so you can present a confident business case. Finally, as you build your case for funding, be sure it's obvious what will happen or what the risk is for postponing the initiative. For instance, will there be increased risk? Will certain projects have a negative impact on business functionality? Keep that in mind and make sure you specify those items. To get to the point I am today, I've had to learn the hard way a few times of what not to do. So first, make no assumptions. Especially if you're new to a company, make sure you're extremely prepared in the processes prior to making requests. It will make your journey so much easier just to be prepared. Next, if you're working with a vendor to price out a technology or services, they will be usually more than happy to provide you with a business case that has been predefined to make them stand out. Make sure you validate the inputs and the numbers, or you could get burned by their assumptions. Been there, done that. Obviously, leverage your champions. In the business, in finance, in legal, audit, compliance, wherever you feel those leaders will help you build your case for funding. Most importantly, be transparent. If you've done your homework, you can be successful without instilling that fear, uncertainty, and doubt in your justification. I want to thank you today for your time. Certainly feel free to contact me directly with any questions you may have around this presentation or any other privacy or security issue that you may be facing. This is my passion. I'm happy to discuss. Thank you again and have a great day.